James Monroe quotes from the 5th U.S. President. How difficult it has been for mankind, in all ages and countries, to preserve their dearest rights and best privileges, impelled as it were by an irresistible fate of despotism. The imperatives of virtue attached all sorts of desiderata to the republican citizen: simplicity, frugality, sobriety, simple manners, Christian benevolence, duty to the polity. It is by rendering justice to other nations that we can expect it from them. If America wants concessions, she must fight for them. We must purchase our power with our blood. If we look to the history of other nations, ancient or modern, we find no example of a growth so rapid, so gigantic, of a people so prosperous and happy. The executive is charged officially in the departments under it with the disbursement of the public money, and is responsible for the faithful application of it to the purposes for which it is raised. It is only when our rights are invaded or seriously menaced that we resent injuries or make preparation for our defense. It is better to spread trust all around than to hand out money. No tribe or people have a right to withhold from the wants of others more than is necessary for their own support and comfort. The citizens of the United States cherish sentiments the most friendly in favor of liberty and happiness beyond the Atlantic. It is the knowledge that all men have weaknesses and that many have vices that makes government necessary. The political system of the Allied powers is essentially different in this respect from that of America. Let us by wise and constitutional measures promote intelligence among the people as the best means of preserving our liberties. There is a price tag on human liberty. That price is the willingness to assume the responsibilities of being free men. Payment of this price is a personal matter with each of us. Usurpation is then an easy attainment, and a usurper soon found. The people themselves become the willing instruments of their own debasement and ruin. It is still the true policy of the United States to leave the parties to themselves, in hope that other powers will pursue the same course. It was by one union that we achieved our independence and liberties, and by it alone can they be maintained. The best form of government is that which is most likely to prevent the greatest sum of evil. We don't always have the best athletes, but we got the best kids in the world. A little flattery will support a man through great fatigue. At no period of our political existence had we so much cause to felicitate ourselves at the prosperous and happy condition of our country. To impose taxes when the public exigencies require them is an obligation of the most sacred character, especially with a free people. How prone all human institutions have been to decay, how subject the best formed and most wisely organized governments have been to lose their check and totally dissolve. There is every reason to believe that our system will soon attain the highest degree of perfection of which human institutions are capable. By the last returns to the Department of War, the militia force of the several states may be estimated at 800,000 men, infantry, artillery, and cavalry. Peace on earth is the best time for improvement and preparation of every kind. Tyrants kept standing armies, republics relied on free yeomen, defending their own land. If these rights are well defined, and secured against encroachment, it is impossible that government should ever degenerate into tyranny. In a representative republic, the education of our children must be of the utmost importance. It is only when the people become ignorant and corrupt, when they degenerate into a populace, that they are incapable of exercising their sovereignty. The legislature is the watchful guardian over the public purse. It is its duty to see that the disbursement has been honestly made. Republics called on other virtues like spiritedness, courage to protect the polity from external threats. It is only when our rights are invaded or seriously menaced that we resent injuries. The right of self-defense never ceases. It is among the most sacred, and alike necessary to nations and to individuals. I enter on the trust to which I have been called by the suffrage of my fellow citizens with my fervent prayers to the Almighty. We must support our rights or lose our character, and with it, perhaps, our liberties. The civil war which has so long prevailed between Spain and the provinces in South America still continues, without any prospect of its speedy termination. I take a deep interest, as a parent and a citizen, in the success of female education, and have been delighted whenever I have been, to witness the attention paid to it. Republics relied on the goodness of the people to put aside private interest for public good. It is in peace that our commerce flourishes most, that taxes are most easily paid, and that the revenue is most productive. The crime of ingratitude has not yet stained, and I trust never will stain, our national character. History has shown that at least 1/2 of every century is consumed in war. I regret that I should leave this world without again beholding him. You are considered by them as not only having rendered important service in our own revolution, but as being, on a more extended scale, the friend of human rights, and able advocate of public liberty. Republics demanded more virtue. Monarchies could rely on coercion and dazzling splendor to suppress self-interest or factions. There is not only in the theory of our government no recognition of God's laws and sovereignty, but its practical operation, its administration, has been conformable to its theory. The payments which have been made into the Treasury show the very productive state of the public revenue. By these purchases the Indian title, with moderate reservations, has been extinguished to the whole of the land within the limits of the states. The mention of Greece fills the mind with the most exalted sentiments and arouses in our bosoms the best feelings of which our nature is capable. The Almighty will be graciously pleased to continue to us that protect which He has already so conspicuously displayed in our favor. A day should be set apart for the devout purposes of rendering to the Sovereign of the universe and the benefactor of mankind